So I hope you guys are ready for some underrated free agents, because I know Paul Pierce isn't. He's falling asleep on the bench, man. He's ready to retire. He's ready to get out of here. Hopefully we can cheer him up by the end of this thing. And before we really dive into this, Otto Porter, I expect the Wizards to match any offer he gets, and the same thing can be said for Kentavious Caldwell-Pope of the Pistons, so we're not going to dive into them too much. The first one is of the Brooklyn Nets, which I'm sure is not going to help out Paul Pierce's case of being cheered up. Bojan Bogdanovic, who averages about 14 points a game, and for about 2 months this season was shooting around 40% from 3 while putting up double-digit points. The thing that I like the most about Bogdanovic is his ability to get open. When it comes to dribbling, he's actually not horrible, but I wouldn't ask him to run pick and rolls or try to create his own offense or be a playmaker or anything. But if he can get one dribble going towards the basket, like on a cut, he's pretty good. He can use one dribble off of like some screens to get open for a three-pointer. And his craftiness is actually kind of okay. And I think he could be a more efficient scorer if he was just on a team that wasn't a D-League team like the Brooklyn Nets. I'm really not helping Paul Pierce's case to get happy here because I'm reminding him of his days with the Brooklyn Nets, which wasn't exactly the best, season? Was it 2 seasons? I don't remember. On top of they're just not that good. But Bogdanovic, his contract's up at the end of the season, and if the Nets are really going to want to throw some ridiculous offers at some younger free agents who could grow into something, then I could see Bojan just kind of slipping away, and some team that's desperate enough for some scoring may want to take him on. I could see him as a Mike Dunleavy, someone who could just simply stretch the floor and provide spacing. Weirdly enough, I can see him playing the small ball 4 at times. You have to ask him to play some defense, but offensively, I think he can make that work. And I think he could be a nice 6th man or just a nice 20 to 25 minute shooter off the bench. And the team that I could be interested in him ending up on is actually the team I'm facing in the footage, the Orlando Magic. They need shooting. They need just some respectable bodies on the wing. And they also could use some guys to provide spacing for Elfrid Payton. I mean, I don't know. Bogdanovic would definitely be an upgrade over Jeff Green because at least he can shoot from outside. You have him and Evan Fournier. How do you feel about that, Pierce? He does not give a crap. All right, we're going to have to try a little bit harder here. Jrue Holiday. His contract is up with the New Orleans Pelicans. I imagine that they're going to try everything they can to re-sign him. This is a really long clip, so bear with me here. Jrue's versatility and his overall game is really the strength of his whole thing going on, even if his first name, it's Drew, but it's spelled with a J. He just missed the dunk. This is not going well at all. I trust me, he's a good player. Okay, look, he's averaging 16 points, 8 assists. He shoots well from the field, shoots well from 3. He's a good playmaker. He makes things work at the point guard position. But again, about to be 26, 27 next season, unless his birthday's really weird. Who knows, man? Maybe Drew just says, maybe it's time to go somewhere else. I mean, let me just read you his stats from January. 17 points, 8 assists, 49 from the field, 52% from 3 while taking over 4 a game. He's just a quality two-way player who's never really been healthy, or he's just been on a really awkward situation with the Pelicans. I mean, the one role he really played this season was when you put at least another competent offensive player next to Anthony Davis, suddenly you become a bit tougher to defend. But the team that I have heard rumors about that would actually want to offer Jrue Holiday a contract, as we see him just kind of annoy Isaiah Thomas for a few more seconds, would be the New York Knicks. They had Derrick Rose this year, and Derrick, I mean, if we compare the two players, Jrue Holiday is a better outside shooter, he's a better defender, he's a better passer. He's just a more all-around player. I mean, if Carmelo Anthony wants to go to work on the low block, Jrue can be there for a kick-out pass, and defensively, I already mentioned, he's just simply better than Derrick Rose when it comes to stopping opposing guards. Even if D. Rose is not horrible on that side of the floor, I think his pick and roll with Porzingis could be really, really good. Jrue Holiday is a good point guard. Could happen. Who knows? Now, for this one, I already talked about Blake Griffin and CP3's situation, how they could leave the Clippers this year. with their player options, given that the Clippers are really good but not good enough to win a title. All of the same thing can be said for JJ Redick. By the way, pretty much all the clips here of Redick, well, not all of them, but a decent amount of them, are him doing things that he can't do, like dribble and make plays, because I got bored with him running around screens, capturing all the footage. I mean, JJ Redick's a white guy who can shoot threes, and those dudes can play until they're 55 years old, so pretty much any team would want Redick. But I don't feel like talking about the Clippers or JJ Redick anymore, so as he keeps on pulling off more plays that a point guard would pull off, by the way, DeAndre missed that dunk, we're going to talk about something more important, which is the fact that JJ Redick's favorite artist is Milo Green. I have no idea who that is. I just saw some article about NBA players' favorite music. Funny enough, he actually does appreciate like Biggie and Jay-Z and Nas because being the only white guy a lot of times in high school, you hear that stuff and I guess he appreciates it. He's actually a fan of Rick Ross. That's interesting, you know? I don't know if I could ever picture JJ Redick really listening to Rick Ross talk about whatever the hell he fakes about in his raps, but I mean, that's pretty cool. We have like 2 more clips here and then we'll get to the team that I would like to see Redick on. Actually, it's 2 teams. I'm giving you a bonus on this one. And it actually starts right now. 1, the Indiana Pacers. I said Gordon Hayward would make a lot of sense for them. Redick would too. Of course, he doesn't have the ability to create as well as Hayward does, but in terms of spacing, he's actually better, as he's been one of the best shooters in the NBA for a while. And going from Monte Ellis, and then Glenn Robinson, who's been an improvement, to JJ Redick would be pretty awesome for them because the spacing would just be great, and it would give Paul George all the room in the world to operate and run the pick and roll with Miles Turner, and it would just be awesome. And the other one is the Chicago Bulls, who might lose Dwayne Wade because he got a player option, and it's not exactly going ideally for them this season. And if you had Redick, as well as like some lineups with Doug McDermott in the game to have a bunch of shooters in, and then if they do what I want them to do and roll with Jimmy Butler at the point guard position, that could actually be a pretty damn good offensive team. Defensively, it's 2017, you don't need defense. I'm kidding on that one, by the way. Tim Hardaway Jr. is the last one. I heard that the Hawks were looking to trade him for like 2 second-round picks because he's a restricted free agent, and I imagine someone's going to throw some money at him, and Atlanta still remains one of the weirdest front offices in the NBA when it comes to they want to trade Millsap, they're not trading Millsap, and then whatever the hell else they do. Tim Hardaway is putting up some nice numbers for them right now. In January, he put up 15 points, 46 from the field, 41% from 3, and in February, he's actually up to a little over 20 points a game. He's had one game of over 30, so perhaps the dream of him being a scorer is officially real. We saw signs of this when he was on the Knicks a while back, but it never really came out, and they traded him for a bunch of BS, so way to go, Phil Jackson. I mean, who knows? Maybe it'll end up being the smart move. He's had like a really good month and a half here. But still, he's been putting up points. He's really excited right there, so you got to give him credit. He's restricted. If he maintains this for the rest of the season, I'm sure someone is going to throw some money at him, and they may be getting a legitimate scorer at the shooting guard position. And the Sacramento Kings are always looking for shooting guards, so why don't you just add Tim Hardaway Jr., and then suddenly you have a guy next to DeMarcus Cousins who can put some points up, and unlike Rudy Gay, hopefully, it would be scoring that would not be at the expense of your team. Hopefully Hardaway could just keep the ball moving and be a three-point shooter. Now, would this make them that great on defense? No, but hey, listen, just go all offense, Sacramento. At least be an exciting team, you know? So there you go. There's some underrated free agents for you. Pierce, how do you feel? Oh, he's up. I think we did it, guys. We got Paul Pierce excited. He's hyped up for some reason. Okay, he's getting a little too excited. We got to get out of here.